Hi, everybody. This is Father Bill Holtzinger from Holy Trinity Catholic Church.
And Father Mike from St. Cecilia Catholic Church.
And we are, if you couldn't tell, we're in Vernonia. See the sign there? Yeah,
St. Mary's.
St. Mary's. And we were just taking bike rides, so we have our bikes here. Actually, they're Mike's bikes. I don't have a bike.
That rhymes.
It does, doesn't it? We went bike riding with Mike. Yeah, okay. Well, hey, it's a nice day. This is actually Monday when we are recording this, but we're looking forward into the week coming forward, the weekend. And we're looking at the reading from Amos, which basically says, in one sense, do not be complacent.
Or get off your ivory couch and get out there.
Right. You have an ivory couch?
Yeah. Live justly. I don't, but it was ivory inlaid. I think they actually did have those. They found them archaeologically, which is interesting. Yeah.
I cannot imagine that being comfortable in any way.
No, it was ivory inlay, so it wasn't like the whole thing was made out of ivory. It was decorated with ivory.
Okay, well that makes a whole bunch of difference.
Maybe not.
I don't know. Anyhow, so we're camping at LL Stewart State Park, and Mike brought his bikes, and so we biked from, well, part of the trail, about half of it. The downhill half, I must admit, because I'm not as athletic as Mike is here. In fact, are you planning to go biking later?
Maybe. After lunch, we'll see.
Well, what kind of biking?
Mountain biking. There's some trails around here. I haven't been, so I'm just going to try them out.
Well, as your mother would say, don't hurt yourself.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, back to our point. So, I have to admit that I sometimes enjoy just lounging around and being complacent. Having moved in just recently, and actually you as well, to our parishes, respectively, I spent a lot of time just trying to get moved in and open boxes and such. And you actually had a lot of work too.
Oh yeah, no lounging for the first couple months at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it kind of brings up some spiritual thoughts. So we are moving still. I think I mentioned in my previous video, if you watch this, that fall is here and winter will be coming shortly. What are we doing to kind of keep ourselves going physically and spiritually? So you don't have to be getting on a mountain bike. You don't have to do this. But it's important for us to think about what are we going to do to keep ourselves going physically, but also spiritually.
Yeah, and I think Amos was kind of getting to the point that it's not just about getting out and just doing activity, but they were all so obsessed with taking what they could as consumers and living that decadent lifestyle, that it was all about them, that they didn't even notice that there was needs beyond them, and they had opportunity to actually do something for God, following his law and his commandments. And in a similar way, I think that whole parable of Lazarus and the rich man talks about that, as Lazarus was poor and he was starving and he's begging and he's on the front, and the rich man just went back and forth several times without even noticing him. And it's just a reminder, if we're always inward looking and we're concerned only with ourselves and getting what we want as good American consumers, we're failing to see where God's calling us and how we can do something for others and to be a little more outward looking.
Well, and that means we also need to take care of ourselves. So as we were actually biking, we were talking about our health and also the history of our family and their health. Determining like when there was heart disease and what was going on with the previous generation and how we can choose to be different if we need to be. And so think about that yourself. Where are you being complacent? Where is a change needed? And the consequences to these folks, Amos said that you'll be the first, for those who are complacent, will be the first to be exiled. And they were. So
yeah, they literally were.
Went off to Babylon and not a good thing. I can think about this. In that day and age, where they lived was their identity, right? And here it's like, well, we don't belong to Vernonia here, but we can come here, and it's a vacation, you could say, or visiting. People didn't just do that, really.
Yeah, and Amos was from the south. He was from Judah, and God was calling him to go up north into Israel and to prophesy to people that didn't really accept him. And he was protesting, saying to them, I don't even want to do this, but God called him to, so he had to.
Mm-hmm. And and I'm even thinking to myself, if we were going to go biking, I'm like, okay, do I really want to do this? I say yes, but part of me says no. And the very first moment we got on the bikes, I don't know how steep that grade was, but it was pretty steep. And Mike's in much better condition than I am. I had to actually stop the bike and walk a little bit and then try to hoof it the rest of the way. And it wasn't really long, it was just really steep. And I started thinking, what did I get myself into?
It's going to be like that for 20 miles.
Yes, but luckily it was just for like, I don't know,
for 100 yards.
a couple minutes.
Yeah.
But maybe that's an issue. Maybe that's something that we all need to think about. Are we willing to do some of the difficult things early on so that we can reap the benefits later on? Those are decisions about our lifestyles as well, right? So think about those things.
Yeah, you got to put in the hard work sometimes in the beginning, and then you reap the rewards afterwards. And that's kind of like ministry. You got to be willing to kind of sacrifice and even suffer a little bit, so that in the end you can see God's work being done.
Well, in each of our parishes and the ministries are winding up, getting going. I know faith formation of all kinds, RCIA, confirmation. My goodness, your school, of course, that's been going on for a couple weeks now. I was noticing at Holy Trinity we had 150 kids signed up, 7th through 12th for confirmation. We had to split it into 2 different meetings, one at 4:30 in the afternoon and one right after 11:15 Mass. I think it was at 12:30. Lots of people. And we actually were struggling at Holy Trinity to have the catechists, at least as of this recording, to have enough people to help with our First Communion class and other things. So we've actually put a waiting list in place because we can't have these numbers without the volunteers, and we need people who are willing to give of their time and talent in ministries. Think about that. Don't be complacent. You are needed and you're wanted. Of course, if that's your gift. I think
right.
that's
Yeah, and don't give up either. I think sometimes people, they say, hey, I want to volunteer, I want to do something. And then there might be leaders that say, okay, we'll get a hold of you. But then in the chaos of things, they don't get around to it. So keep checking back, because ultimately people who really are persistent are going to be able to do things. But maybe the opening's not there right now, but it will be in a week or so, or in a month. But yeah, I'd say just don't give up. Whatever you think God's calling you to, use some discernment and step forward and be persistent.
Well, because sometimes there's obstacles placed in our way, and it may be a little test to say, are you serious about this? Right? I mean, it's kind of like saying, going to the grocery store and saying, well, that front parking spot is not there, so therefore I must not be called to go shopping today, even though there's no food at the house. We need to be persistent, right?
I'm hungry, I'm going to eat.
Yeah, we got to find the right parking spot. Yeah, find the right place. So, folks, as we move into the weekend, well, I hope that you can find something that you are being called to do, whether it be an adult ministry, a Bible study, faith sharing group, maybe volunteer as a catechist of some kind. But also, that's in the spiritual realm, and hopefully you're praying. But also get out. I mean, while the days there's still sunny days out, do something. I would encourage you.
Yeah, and try to again get the focus off of ourselves and pleasure and the lap of luxury that Amos was talking about, and be considerate of what others might need, even people around us, our own family members, our own friends. Really, it's amazing how even a few words and some little act of kindness can make such a huge difference to people.
Yeah, it can even be just a smile.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, if you're going grocery shopping or going around, start smiling at people.
That's why Bill always smiles at me.
He wonders what I'm thinking of. Hey, folks, I hope to see you this weekend at Holy Trinity
or St. Cecilia.
Okay, take care, everybody.
All right, God bless.
Bye.